So, I am the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Coordinator at the Health District. I've only been there about a year. I'll be 2 years in September. When Carla emailed me about this topic, I was like, yes, I get to learn something about Brazos County. I went to school here. I'm a first responder here. I do a lot of, disaster activations, but I don't know the history of Brazos County. So while researching, I found out that we're very lucky compared to other counties. We do not have many disasters, both in the past and in the present. So I kind of did a spin on this presentation. I wanted to see how prepared you guys are for a disaster. How do you guys feel? Do you think you're prepared for a disaster? Kinda? Okay. That is okay. Because I want to make sure that you guys remember things going into, talking to your families, getting your grandchildren all set up. There's a lot of cobwebs up there, and I do this every day. So without further ado, we're going to start off with a short video, and I want you to think about what you guys might do. Granted, we might not have this disaster in this area, but you never know what could happen.
You have this picture in your mind. Grab Karen and Troy.
Park yourself on the shoulder, drive away.
I was motionless. You think you're ready, but are you? It's scary.
It's really simple. Those considerations are really part of the dynamic. It's actually going to happen like you asked. We all know how important it is to prepare for emergencies. But how ready are you really? Today, we have families in Texas.
It's gonna cut out.
My name is Matt Slusher. I'm a battalion chief in the Brazos Fire Department, and there's a fire approaching. We're going to need you to evacuate right now. You have 10 minutes to evacuate.
Where's the kids and all that?
They're in my top drawer in my dresser. Then I'm gonna go get the dogs. Okay, grab that.
You have 8 minutes left.
Take all the pictures.
Think about water and food, any medications you might need. Consider being prepared for 72 hours away.
Yeah, this is not 72 hours. Where's your soccer stuff?
It's right on this wall.
Sprinkler systems on to help as the wildfire approaches.
We got a charger, we have the iPad, our family center.
Do you want this one down? On your last sweep, if you can make sure all the windows are closed so that no embers can get through into the house.
Just grab Karen and Troy, just to set them close.
All set.
All right.
Minute and a half left, and then we need to go.
How close is the fire?
I don't know, we have to go back to me. Just get in the car with the dogs. Oh my gosh. I could cry. Like it's time to like emotional.
What's that look like next week? Or do you think this is something you would probably do as a family again and talk about it and practice? And maybe what would it look like if we were to come back next week?
Giving them more responsibility in the situation, like not just like sitting there holding the dogs. Like I can get it totally put together and make the plan a little bit more solid.
And I would encourage you to have a list of those things, even prioritized. So, if medications are the number one thing to be grabbed, that's at the top of the list. And then your cell phone charger or your birth certificate's at the top. And the more time you have, the further down the list you get. But you know where the go bag is and you know where your list is. So if you have some organization helps you, kind of bring calm to the chaos.
Me, personally, I probably would just be like, let's just go. I would probably grab wallet, keys, phone, birth certificates, and leave. Maybe 1 or 2 pictures. But I honestly don't feel the need to grab like everything.
I would have just had them be more accountable to pack their get 2 changes of clothes, grab some snacks, let's go.
To see you get kind of emotional, kind of, oh wow.
Yeah.
dynamic that's actually gonna happen under chaos.
I think when it comes down to it, you need to be ready just to get out. Like, that's probably more important that than grabbing your loved ones, kids, animals, and just get out.
I think it's more us getting hurt. Like, if we're together, that's all that matters.
Are you guys prepared for a fire? No, we're not gonna have somebody that's gonna be there to identify, to close the windows, to grab your pictures. You know, you see the kids grabbing the dog. 99% of the time, people just open the door and let their pets go because they don't want to bring them with them because they don't want to grab the food and all that stuff. Medications. I'm on medications. I'm sure some people in here are as well. You're gonna forget to grab that. And then you're gonna go to a different location and you're not gonna have your medication, you can't get the refills and all that. So the thought behind this video was because California has a lot of wildfires. This was shot about an hour from my hometown. So I've been through a lot of wildfires. You grab stuff and you go. But they didn't think, and this is a dramatization, and it is a firefighter, so he's trying to get his family involved. But you don't realize that it could happen to you, even though you are a first responder. So because of this, are you guys gonna be a little more prepared now? Do you think? Okay, we'll see. So, again, the history of Brazos County, we don't have a lot of major disasters, which I love. But what kind of disasters do you think we have in Brazos County? Weather. Okay. Hail. Fire. Yeah, pandemics. Well, you guys hit them all. We got pretty much all of them. You know, we added the COVID-19, the Spanish flu. I put the measles in there because it is kind of on the rise. We're not really in that spot yet, but as a public health person, I wanted to add that in there. Hurricanes were not directly affected, but we did have Hurricane Harvey that did cause a lot of flooding. So these are what's the big things that happen in our area. We just get the outer bands or we get a lot of that flooding. So what do you think the percentage is of our disasters? The type of disasters we have. What do you think is the highest percentage of disasters? Weather. Interestingly enough, tornadoes, which is, it's weather, and it comes with thunderstorms. So we get a thunderstorm, we can get a tornado. We get our little snowstorms. Again, I was born in California up in the mountains, so the snowstorms here are a lot different than what I was growing up with, but we'll count it. Here's another little short video. This might have been posted on national news. Does anyone know where this is? Yeah, uh-oh. What's the phrase that we use when we tell people not to drive in water? Exactly. Did that person follow that? No. And it was here in College Station. Yes. Person's fine. They ended up getting on top of their car and they were rescued. But they mistakenly drove through the water and went into the creek. May 2024. Yes, last year. So, we have had a lot of tornadoes here. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yes, we do have a lot of those. So, we've had a lot of tornadoes here. We have had some that touched down pretty locally. In 2019, we had a tornado on the backside of Bryan over by Target. And then in 2016, I think it is, we had one here in College Station. These are very low rated tornadoes. I'm not trying to negate the severity of them, but they happen. We don't want to see those big tornadoes. Does this look familiar to anybody? Snowmageddon, Snowvid as I called it. I worked in the ER and in an ambulance during this one. That's in Austin. They got a lot of snow. We thought we got a lot of snow. The whole state was closed. So doing this presentation, like I said, we do not have any disasters, but this is the Historical Preservation Committee, and I found this picture of Old Main that caught on fire back in 1912, and I thought, well, I went to A&M, I didn't know that. So here's a little bit of history there. There's kind of your house fire if you think about it. Does that look familiar to anybody? Because I was not here when this happened. So we got train derailment, we got construction, some type of explosion, correct? El Dorado chemical plant in 2009. Brian. That's all I can tell you because I was not here for that. My former boss said, add that in there, they're gonna love that. What about this picture? Yes, the good old chicken farm, Feathercrest. Rest in peace, all those chickens. Yeah, they were roasted. So that disaster happened late in the afternoon. Something happened, I'm not entirely sure the specifics, but I left work at 5 p.m. I went home, I didn't hear about this until the next day. I didn't even see it on the news. Insane. This is in Curtin, just down the street over by Wixon Valley. What about this? What does that look like? Yeah, we can tell the tornado damage when we see one. Does anyone know where this might be? It could be anywhere, I understand that. This was in Franklin in 2019. So as you can see, we do have disasters here, but they're not, wildfires. They're very sporadic. But with, climate change happening, they're gonna become more frequent. How many of you guys have heard of the state of Texas Emergency Assistant Registry? STEER? Okay. So the STEER program is for those that are medically fragile, are homebound, need extra assistance, limited mobility for when a disaster strikes. If you're on oxygen and you have, 24-hour power to it at home and the power goes out, this registry will pop up on the 911 systems, and they will see that there's a map that says this person is needing power. They need to get an oxygen concentrator. They need to have some type of assistance. This isn't where it's gonna come to you and they're gonna pull you out on an ambulance. This is just an added benefit. So if you're at home by yourself and you can't get out or there's a disaster, 911 knows ahead of time that this general area, there could be somebody with limited mobility, hard of hearing, bedridden, on a bunch of different type of medications and machines. So it'll help us get you guys out faster. It's free of charge. Nobody calls you. You sign up on your own. Every year they send you an email saying, hey, anything changed? Anybody's still there? So if you have any questions, I'll leave my business card and we can get you all set up for that. Or if you want, you can scan the QR code to register. As we all know, we like to stay informed. We have Rusty in our back pocket, but what if we don't have Rusty? What if he decides to go to another area? Let's hope not. We got KVTX, we've got the radio, we've got NOAA. How do you guys listen to the weather if you're not watching the news? telephones. So what if the cellular stuff goes out, the towers? Emergency radios? That's great, because I don't have one. So I'm gonna figure it out. How many of you guys know of code red? One? Okay, do we know code maroon? Same concept. It's just not A&M affiliated. So again, you can scan this QR code and you can sign up for code red. It'll put your zip code in and it can provide you alerts if there's a disaster, a thunderstorm, severe weather, something in your zip code. It also can provide you other updates of what's going on in the area, but it's not gonna bombard your phone. Again, who takes medication in here? Me. Uh-huh. Who has spilled their medication? Who has dropped their pills everywhere? I have, yeah. It's okay. So, how many of you guys have grandchildren? I don't. Okay, great. What if your grandchild takes one of your pills that you dropped and you're just like, oh no, they just took one of these pills and you don't know the name of it, but you know the color and the shape. You call that number, they will help you identify the pill just based on color, shape, and like the number. Even if you give them the worst description, they will tell you what medication it is. There's a jingle, but my jingle did not work on that, and I apologize. Poison control, we also know you call them in case somebody ingests something else. They're not just there for ingesting toxins and chemicals. They will help you identify medications. Even if you take them every day and you just spill it and you're like, oh man, I don't know if my thyroid medicine was a AM or PM medication. They'll tell you. So earlier I asked if you guys were prepared, and we got kind of a consensus of no. So do you guys think you'd do or get a go bag now after seeing how close some of these disasters have been to us? This is an example of one of the go bags that we have at the health district. Very simple. Flashlights, ponchos, carabiners, first aid kit. We threw in masks in there because that was during COVID. And you can always use a mask, especially during allergy season. A waterproof document bag, fireproof document bag, thermometer, multi-tool, a glow stick, because what if your flashlight doesn't work? You never know. A lot of these things can be purchased at a dollar store. It doesn't have to be fancy. Any questions on go bags?
Did you bring us some?
No, but if you want one, just talk to me later. But I did bring you guys emergency document bags, the waterproof document bags. So I can't.
What is the thing in the back right corner with blades? Flashlight.
Yes, so that is a weird combo flashlight that's like a lantern with multiple different functions. But this is the document bag that I brought you guys. It's waterproof, so you can put all your important documents in there. This is one of the big things I would say have in your car too. You could put your insurance in there as well. So I brought these guys for you. Why would somebody want a Sharpie in their go bag? I'm hearing little answers. Yeah. So it's kind of a dark thing to think. Why would somebody want a Sharpie? One, to document, but some people don't want to evacuate. And I've had to give people Sharpies and tell them, write your name, write your social. If you don't want to leave, This will help identify who you are. It's unfortunate, but my grandmother said she is not moving. She's gonna die in her house. And I said, okay, great. You have a Sharpie next to you, right? It's on her her fall button. I said, I love you, but you're gonna have to either do that or that. I don't wanna be that dark with her, but it's the reality. Other things are, if you have that medical background and you know what your blood type is, write it on you. You never know. Somebody might be like, oh, you're O positive, you can give blood. Do you want to? You might be able to. Just little things. All right, questions. I went through a lot, but what do you guys have?